Got a question from Bob, and Bob says, how do you know when it's time to call it quits on a business idea? Over the past decade, I've launched 5 or 6 businesses, set up e-commerce sites, obtained sales, then stopped when I didn't believe I could turn a profit. Now with my current venture, I'm in the same spot, and I'm not sure if I should push forward or switch gears to one of my other entrepreneurial ideas. His business on this one is that he developed a skincare product. You know, Bob, I hear exactly what you're saying because in my 20s, I started a lot of different things and I got involved in a lot of business opportunities and things like that, and none of them worked out. The whole thing about it was that at that time, I just simply didn't know how to run a business. And that was it. I just lacked the knowledge of knowing truly how to run a business. And a product business, which is what you have, a product-based business, is much more capital intensive than a service-based business. So a product-based business without capital, it's very difficult to grow that kind of business. It can be grown. What I would recommend to you is to go spend an entire 6-8 hour period, a whole weekend, and I would watch the Shark Tank. I would watch every episode that I can of the Shark Tank over and over and over again, because you are just like all of those entrepreneurs that are on the Shark Tank. And you're going to see the ones that are succeeding, and you're going to see why. And you're going to see the ones that are failing and think they have great ideas, and the sharks set them straight, and you're going to see why. By watching enough of those shows, it's going to become very clear, especially for a product-based business, a lotion-type product-based business like yours, how you really don't have a business yet. You've got the idea of one product. I don't know if it's more than one, but I thought it was just one, but you've got one product. That's not really a business. It's a product. To turn it into a business, you have to develop a brand. And to survive off of one single product and be able to make a living and support our family off that one product, very, very challenging. Not impossible, but very challenging. And I think if I can remember, you have a full-time job. So you're not even working on the business or in the business like every other entrepreneur that is working in the business 24 hours a day. On the Shark Tank, that's one of the things that they always get on people that say, I have a full-time job and I'm just doing this on the side. On one hand, they really applaud that effort, but on the other hand, they're saying, you want me to invest money in a company in which nobody's even working at it full-time? I don't think so. I just don't think so. And so that's something to think about here, Bob, is to answer your question, how do you know when to call it quits on a business idea? We want to call it quits on a business idea when the business doesn't really have a business model. Right now, your business model is producing the product, developing the brand, and then cold calling on big box retailers like Whole Foods and other stores that are going to sell your product. I walk into Whole Foods every day when I go, and I go into the session with all of the shampoos and lotions and essential oils, and I look at all of them. And it's easy to see the differentiator from a branding perspective of what's going to appeal to me. And that's just part of the process. And there's lots of Shark Tank episodes where people are selling products, whether it's frozen food or it's sauces or whether it's skincare or beauty products. And they're like, I just went and I started one store at a time and I started developing the relationships and the customers spoke. If Whole Foods is reordering your product, that means people are buying it, right? And that's the tail of the tape is people reordering your product because you have a consumable that people, if they're using it and they like it, they're going to buy more. My skincare, for my moisturizer on my face, that's how I keep looking so good. I have a $150 4-ounce jar of moisturizer. $150. That doesn't cost $150. The margins on that have to be ridiculous. But I order a jar of that every 45 days. All right? And I love it. I'm not going to go without it. I've been using it 7 years. It's how I'm 50 years old and still think that I halfway look like I have good skin. So there is a market out there for this stuff, but you have to advertise. This is branding. there's med spas. You've got to find out where your product is going to reach and have an effect on people, and then how many of those people exist, and getting in front of them. And that's going to take money, and that's going to take a lot of sales effort. So yeah, I think that there's a guy in the group, Jason Antonino, or Jason Conifer, I think he's going by in the group now. You should talk with him because he's like you. He's a mixologist when it comes to, he's in the essential oil business, and he went and got his aromatherapy certification, and he's mixing things, and he's doing lotion bars. You know, you guys might want to talk and see if you guys can figure out how to put your heads together and your money together to do some business together, since you have limited time and possibly limited capital. But to answer your question, the time to know when it's time to quit an idea is when you just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel that you're going to turn into a profitable company. That's the gauge that I would use. If I thought there's no way this is going to happen, I would be looking for lower hanging fruit somewhere else. All right. I hope that helps, man.